Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. And of course, hello to everybody who is joining us on our YouTube channel after the fact. If you're joining me for the first time, just so you know, we actually have all of our recordings on our YouTube channel. I should actually probably put the link up there. You can always check them all out right down there below. As you can tell, I'm not in my fancy studio. And by studio, I mean half studio, half nursery where my son Liam is sleeping. And that's actually why I'm not in my studio. He's taking a nap because we're coming at you a little earlier than our usual 12. But that's all right. We're still got a lot of great information to share with you today. So as always, if you get a chance, go ahead and throw in the comments where you're coming at us from or where you're joining us from. Sure, something like that. What city, state, zip code, part of the world that you're in. Always love to know where people are joining me from. And a great tip I have for you today, or I think it's a great tip, or else I wouldn't be sharing it with you. And I want to talk about a really important part of business development for solo professionals, for small business owners, and that is the referral, right? We love seeing our happy customers recommend us to other customers because the people know people like them. And so if they were an ideal client for you, the likelihood that they're going to send you to somebody who's also an ideal client, super high. What's up, Joe? Thanks for joining me today. I know we were just chatting recently, but good to see you now in this completely different milieu. And so when we look at client referrals, I want to talk about two big misconceptions that people have about how to get referrals. And these misconceptions really just lend itself to becoming full-blown mistakes that people make. And there's two that come up frequently. One mistake people make when asking for referrals is they think that passive asks work. And what I mean by passive asks, it's not when you're straightforward and asking for a referral, but it's when you're putting something on your email, right? Like I see that signature a lot where you'll just have, hey, if you're, if you like our service, recommend us to your friends. Or you think that just giving your clients on their invoice, it says you can refer people to us, or just giving somebody a business card and say, hey, if you know anybody else we can help, just pass my business card along. So that's the first misconception, is that those passive, just kind of putting it out there and letting the customer, the client do all the work. If you think those are going to work, nah, that's a big mistake. The second mistake people make is that they think that they have to reward people for giving them referrals. And what I mean by that is they think that they have to pay people for a referral. And so if you think about this, you'll see a lot of, just straight out reward programs or bonuses, or, hey, for every referral you give me, I'll give you a $5 Starbucks card. Or, if you give me this referral, I'll give you a 10% discount. Those also do not work. And of course, they'll work every once in a while. But as a consistent way of driving referrals, it's not going to help. So let me talk about why these two misconceptions have happened and some easy ways of getting around it. So the first thing we want to look at is that idea of the passive ask. Like, all I have to do is kind of put out there that I want referrals and people will give them to me. Because it's obvious, right? My clients know that that's how I'm going to build my business. So they're going to take the time and the attention out of their schedule to give me those referrals. And again, why doesn't it work? Well, I just kind of touched on it. It's because it requires the prospect, or the clients, to do all the work in getting you in front of another prospect. They have to go, oh, I think I know about a good client for this person. I'm going to go and do an email introduction, and I'm going to take time on my schedule to do that. Think about your schedule. Think about the things that you have to do during your day. You might want to help out a service provider that you hired for something, but it's just low on the list. So when you see, for example, I remember in real estate at one point, this was a big thing. If the biggest compliment you can give me is a referral. The reality is I'd like to give you a compliment, but I've got a bunch of other things to do, especially if I'm looking at all my emails and seeing all the other emails that I have to deal with. So that's the first misconception. And so the way to avoid that is to remember that you have to actively ask for referrals. You have to kind of put this front and center in a conversation that you're having with that person that you're working with. By the way, is it a bad thing to put on, again, your email signature or to send out a note that says, hey, if you ever run across something that I can help, please let me know? Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with letting people know that you're open to referrals, but there always has to be an active ask, right? And by the way, two really important times that you should be asking for referrals. One is right after they buy, right after they choose to work with you. This can even be before you provide the service. When are people most bought into you? When they gave you a credit card number or they wrote a check. So that's a good time to get that initial interest. The second time to ask for referrals is when you have delivered. So after delivery, they're happy with it. Again, you provide the service, you give them the product, whatever it is. And we'll definitely have another session where we look at, maybe how to structure that ask. So the other mistake we make is thinking that we have to pay people for our recommendations or referrals. And here's why that's actually counterproductive. When you are asking for a referral from a customer, the reason why they're going to give it to you is it not because you're paying them, but it's actually because they want to help you out, because there's some trust. There is, the old sales analogy, it's about know, like, and trust. You've built that in delivering for your clients. And because you've delivered for them, they want to help you. Now, there's actually a lot of really interesting research on this, especially coming from neurochemistry, behavioral economics, all that kind of good stuff. And what they found is that when you ask somebody for a favor, quite literally, different parts of the brain light up and are activated than if you try to sell something to somebody. One of the key examples of thanks, Tom. One of the key examples, it's just wetted down. That's all. I had to look pretty for everybody today. One of the key pieces of research in this area actually comes from a toy blank on, what do you call it? A daycare. Thank you. There we go. A daycare center where parents were picking their kids up late. The daycare center said, hey, we're going to institute a policy where we're going to start having a fee if you come in late, because that makes the teachers stay late, right? And what they found is instead of having less people get picked up late, more children were picked up late. Parents just came later because all of a sudden it wasn't about inconveniencing the teachers. It was a simple bit of arithmetic. They're like, well, I'm running late because I got to do this, or I have to, I'm in this meeting. It's going to cost me $10. Okay, that's fine. And what happens in that situation is it's not about the relationship. It's just a pure economic decision. So what happens is if we take this now into asking for referrals, when you ask for a referral and say, hey, I'll give you a $10 gift card, to Starbucks or whatever, for every referral you give me, or if somebody works with me, I'll give you X, Y, or Z. As opposed to the parts of the brain activating where the client wants to help you out, it just becomes an economic decision. It becomes a transaction. And they go, do I want to put my credibility and my time and my attention into getting a $10 gift card? And the answer is almost always no. And then they don't get any referrals. It's the same reason why if your friend asked you to help them move, and they said, I'll give you pizza versus I'll pay you $25. It's a lot easier to turn the money down because it's just a transaction versus, hey, I'm going to help my friend out. Oh, the pizza is a nice reward. And that's what I say to people when you're asking for referrals. You can definitely still reward people and say thank you, but I really suggest that you set it in terms of, again, a thank you, an expression of gratitude versus I'm paying you for this. In fact, a lot of times, I think it works to not even talk about what you're going to give them if they refer somebody to you until after they do, and then say, hey, thanks so much. Hey, here's, this $100 gift card, or, I was actually able to save you a little bit of money on the work that we have going forward, whatever it might be. But so again, don't make the mistake of thinking that you're going to get referrals by just sitting back and being passive and then saying, hey, I'll throw you a bone. I'll pay you for the referrals. Doesn't work. Instead, be active, ask for that referral, and then reward people by saying thank you as opposed to paying them for the referrals. So that's my idea on the two mistakes that people really make when they are asking for referrals from their clients. Hope that helped. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm just trying to make sure. Yeah, we have one more session this week. Tomorrow, that's at noon. I realize I've kept this YouTube link up the entire time. That's all of our stuff is right there at our YouTube channel. Not only this series on small business selling skills, but everything that we've recorded, for example, at the beginning of Shelter in Place. So there's great stuff on using LinkedIn. There's great networking ideas, online networking ideas, looking at how you can build empathy even in a digital space. Definitely encourage you to check those out. The other thing that we do have available for anybody who is a solo professional, a small business owner, a consultant, solo service provider, is our Selling Launchpad. That is a sales coaching group. It's designed to help that audience, that small business owner, really develop their networking, marketing, and sales skills to build pipeline, to find more prospects, and obviously to close more clients and get more business. So if you're in that type of role and you want to bring in more business over the course of the next couple of months and obviously into 2021, I've got the link down below. Check it out. If you have any questions about it, let me know. But it's a really great community of people. We'd love to have you involved in that. We are building it and adding more people over the next month or so. And with that, everybody, thank you for spending a few minutes with me. Said my goal is always keep these under 14 minutes, keep them nice and fast. So tomorrow we'll be coming at you at noon Central. If hopefully you'll be able to join us again. And if you know anybody who would find value from these, I'd really appreciate it if you share it with them, send them a quick note here on LinkedIn, or even just do a posting on LinkedIn because it's kind of hard to let people know about these LinkedIn Lives. So thank you for everybody. Hey, and Reno, just saw your post there. Yeah, LinkedIn is a great place to ask for referrals too. The trick is to just ask. So everybody, have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.